What do you think beliefs are in themselves can become reality? I mean, so you've now adapted in this little bit of a conversation, adapted the metaphysician view of reality, which is the physics.
Yes.
But, we humans kind of operate in the space of ideas, very much so. Like we've kind of in the collective intelligence of human beings have come up with a set of ideas that persist in the minds of these many people, and they become quite strong and powerful. Like in terms of like impact on our lives, they can have sometimes more impact than this table does, than the physics.
Yeah, I
And,
agree.
and in that sense, is there some sense in which our beliefs are reality, even if
Oh,
they're not
yes,
connected to the
absolutely.
physics
Yes,
of
even if
that
they're not
reality?
real. Yeah, even if, okay. So, yes, absolutely. So, our beliefs are tremendously, they create social effects. Absolutely. Um, there was a belief that, I'm going to use this example.
Uh-oh.
There was a belief back in the day, and we're talking about, when I say back in the day, I'm a historian, so I'm talking about like 1,000 years ago, right? That women had no souls. Okay, so look, I don't know if human beings have souls. I can tell you this, though, that if human beings have souls, probably animals do too. That's my own personal belief. That's not a professor belief there. But there was this belief among the Catholic magisterium, which runs Europe, that women had no souls. So they had to have this big meeting about it. Did women have souls? But that belief had consequences for women. I mean, women were treated and
Yeah.
have been treated as if they didn't have souls. Okay, so there's
And the soul was really the essence of the human being.
it's called the animus, right? It's what is the essence of what is it's eternal. Women weren't eternal. Here's another example. Okay, this is an example from my own research. All right, so there in the Catholic tradition, there's this idea of purgatory, hell, and heaven, and these are three destinations that people can go to when they die. And if you're great, you go to heaven automatically and you're considered a saint. If you're okay, you go to purgatory, right? And you suffer for a time and then get back into heaven. If you're terrible, you go to hell, right? Okay.
Yep.
Well, there was a place that the Catholics determined, and this was a belief for a long time, like 1,000 years or more, and it was called limbo. All right. And limbo comes from the Latin limbus, and it means edge. And it was either on the edge of hell or on the edge of heaven. No one really could determine which it was. No historians are like, well, this person says it was on the edge of heaven. Well, listen, this was a terrible, first of all, there is no limbo anymore. In 2007, Benedict, the then Pope, got rid of the idea that there was limbo. Okay, so Catholics kind of went crazy because they didn't really know. They forgot that limbo existed and they thought it was purgatory.
Yeah.
And they said, how could you get rid of purgatory? But actually, he just got rid of this idea of limbo.
Oh, so that's a distinct thing from purgatory.
It was.
And
It
by
was
the
like
way, people should know they have a book on purgatory that came before.
American Cosmic. Yes, I wrote a book on purgatory. Yeah.
Anyway, so limbo is a distinct thing from purgatory.
Yeah, and the types of people who go to limbo happen to be virtuous pagans, okay, like Socrates or somebody like that, and children who weren't baptized. So think of this. Think of for like more than 1,000 years, mothers and fathers gave birth to babies who weren't baptized and couldn't be buried with their family in these burial, and they couldn't be reunited with them in heaven. Think of the pain and suffering that caused, and that was nothing.
Yeah.
Limbo's nothing, yet the belief in it caused untold suffering, and that's just a small example.
And that was as real to them.
It was absolutely real.
As
I mean, the
anything
effects
else.
were real. Let's put it that way. The place itself, not real.
But the families themselves, do you think they really believed it?
They totally believed it.
As much as the table is real?
Yes. I've read, but listen, we have trigger warnings today, right? So don't read this. It's going to make you upset, okay? Yeah. History, primary sources, no trigger warnings, okay?
Yeah.
So you're going through like, somebody's diary from 1400 and you hear the suffering and pain that they went through. There were times in my research where I'd have to put my primary source down, and just basically go outside and take a walk because it was so horrific. I knew it was true because they wouldn't write something, they're not going to write in their diary something that's not true. And it was horrible. So yes, these people went through untold suffering for nothing, for, because they had an erroneous belief. But they didn't know it was erroneous.
So it was real to them.
Yeah.